All right, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And today we're going to talk about the flight from Salt Lake City to Kansas City, and that's coming up right after this. Hi everyone, welcome back to Traveling with Justin. I am Justin, and yes, we are going to talk about the flight we took from Salt Lake City to Kansas City aboard Southwest Airlines. All right, so started out just perfectly fine. We went from Salt Lake City. Actually, we had to, after we parked, we got in there, we just walked right through TSA pre-check and stuff like that because we didn't check any bags. And then we had to make the long walk from TSA down Concourse A, halfway down. Then we had to walk like way over. Then we had to walk all the way back. So yeah, we were in B-17. Yeah, B-17. That was like, I wish they would get that other centralized tunnel built. But yeah, we did a lot of walking for the morning so far. All right, so we got on board the plane, and it was an okay plane. It was a 737-800, a Boeing one, and we were Group C. By the time I had checked in, like 2 minutes after it went viral or went public, whatever you want to call it, the check-in time, we got C, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so by the time we got on the plane, you know, there were slim picking seats, and my wife was just like, find one and sit down. So I found a couple seats. I put my luggage up and I sat down in the middle, and thinking my son would sit next to me, or even my wife. No, they just went right on back behind me because there was a few more seats in the back. I was like, okay, that's fine. That is fine. You know, I can sit here for an hour. But there was a nice lady who sat next to me, and there was a gentleman next to me on the left-hand side. I was talking to the woman on the right-hand side because she was going to Kansas City too, because she had Kansas City hat attached to her bag down there. So I asked her if she was going to the game. She was like, yeah, I'm going to the game. I was like, hey, I am too. You know, we were talking and stuff like that. And come to find out that they're a big Chiefs fan, and they go out once or twice a year to go to these games. I mean, Monday Night Football, the week of Thanksgiving, is going to be crowded. There was a lot of Eagles fans on that plane. There was a lot of Chiefs fans on that plane. But it's like a normal Southwest flight. There's no features at all. No USBs, no nothing like that. I was cramped. See, I didn't have that much space in front of me. But that is the name of the game, right? So that flight, we were getting our drinks and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden there was a medical emergency up towards the front of the plane. And so we didn't get snacks or anything like that because they were trying to take care of that guy next to me. Was a doctor. When they're like, is there any medical professionals on board? He was like pushing a button. But they didn't need him because of there was 2 doctors and a physician assistant up front. So yeah, that was good. When we got to Denver, we landed. We had to remain seated while medical personnel came on the plane, assessed her, and then took her off. She walked off on her own free will, so hopefully she's all right. So we get to Denver, and we're like in C 63. I think it was 63. I didn't take a picture of it because we had to walk a long way. So we started walking, and we had to go to C29. So we were walking, and I was like, okay, C29, but it says Atlanta. I was like, I don't need to go to Atlanta. I'm looking for Kansas City. You know, I was like, C29, I'm looking at my boarding pass. Yeah, C29, I'm looking at the informational board. C29, but it said Atlanta on it. So, but then it switched to Kansas City for about 10 seconds and back to Atlanta. You know, it just went back and forth. So I guess there was 2 different flights. I don't know. We got to C29, and it was nice. Okay, they did have these tables right here where you can actually sit down and charge your device, work on your laptop. I wish more and more airports had those at more and more gates, but they were really super crowded. But we didn't have time anyway. I think we had maybe like 40 minutes. enough time to go find something to eat, get a drink, go to the bathroom and stuff like that. So we boarded the plane. Okay, so we lined up in C, in the C group, and there was these people that came and, you know, went in front of us, but they wouldn't budge. Kind of like in Salt Lake City, where people would not budge and get out of our spots. They were further down in C, but, you know, they weren't going to budge. And so we were standing there. They were getting up there. They handed the tickets, and the lady goes, "Well, I'm sorry, but you can't board now. We haven't called your number yet." And they're like, "What do you mean? You know, we're C." And they're like, "Yeah, you're C like 50. Go back to the back of the line." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." So we got bored and stuff like that. So people try to rig the system. They try to think they're entitled. You know, if they're C, boom, they're in the front of the line instead of when they're supposed to be called. I wish they would have done that in Salt Lake to the people in front of us, because we were 5 and there was like 10 people in front of us. Go figure. But so I got on board and I went straight to the back, but I did put my luggage up the first spot I found. And I didn't really need that because there was plenty of room in the back. So we get that there. I'm sitting there, you know, trying to figure out what we're going to do. My wife says, "Hey, why don't you and Riker sit together?" So Riker and I sat together. If you don't know my son Riker, he's 6'4", about 250, and he's got broad shoulders. I'm 5'10". I'm a large guy, and I got broad shoulders. Okay, yeah. Here's what we look like. Yeah, it wasn't a good, comfortable thing, and so I moved over. Well, I wasn't going to sit by him, but I moved over to where Tegan was sitting, because Tegan's a little bit smaller, and then my wife sat next to Riker. But the plane was not full. They had another medical situation up in front of the plane. I don't know what it is with the front of the plane and the right-hand side of the plane, but that's where both of them happened. So we were late pushing off. They got the people and they took them off the plane, which opened up like 4 seats behind around us. So the other people that were coming on, they filled those 4 seats up, and we had great, really super great room back in the back of the plane. I mean, so this was right here. This was a picture of me sitting next to my son. You know, my knees are right there. But then when I moved over a spot to the aisle, then I was able to stretch my feet out, because I left my personal bag underneath the seat, and I was able to stretch out. So that was really super nice. Yeah, so the flight to Kansas City was interesting. We had 2 medical issues on the planes, which was fine. We didn't have to divert or turn around or anything like that. And then we had drinks on the flight from Salt Lake to Denver, no snacks because of the medical emergency. And on the way to Kansas City, we had no drinks and no snacks because of turbulence in the air. So, yeah, I'm glad I had a Built Bar. I was really super hungry. But other than that, the flight went pretty good. Southwest, yes, it is a 737, a Boeing 737-8 and a MAX 8. They're not designed for room or features, but it gets you from point A to point B and to point C. So that's all that matters, right? All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have you ever flown on a 737? I'm sure you have. If you have, why don't you leave a comment below and tell me your experience. All right, guys, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And until the next one, I will see you later. Bye.